Hi, I'm Kim Bushman. I'm a licensed psychologist and founder of Water's Edge Counseling and Healing Center in Burnsville, Minnesota. Today, I want to talk to you about emotions and the importance of keeping our emotional energy fluid in our body. You see, we were made for energy to come into our bodies and to move out of our bodies. We're not actually supposed to hang on to much. We hang on to things just long enough to pull the good from it, the nourishment from it, and then we release what's not needed. And that's what happens with emotional energy as well. You see, all of our emotions have different energy attached to them, and that energy wants to move in one way or another. It wants to be released, it wants to be expressed. And many of us grew up in homes, though, where emotions really weren't understood. And so we might have messages that are belief systems that say emotions are a sign of weakness, or if we express emotions, that's something to feel ashamed about. And I just want to say that's not actually true. It may be true how we grew up, but it's not true in how we were created. You see, God created us in a way that gave us the gift of emotions, where we could express emotions, because emotions actually connect us. They connect us to our experience, and they connect us to each other, and they connect us to God. So I want to go to the book of Ezekiel. In chapter 47, Ezekiel describes a vision of living water. He's talking about a stream. And he says living water is flowing, and it's flowing through the Dead Sea, but it's bringing life to everything that was dead, except in the marshes and the swamps, which will remain salty. And if you think about some descriptive words for people who are stuck in emotion, salty is kind of a nice one. Salty emotional expression or lack of emotional expression resulting in saltiness is defensiveness. It's chronic irritability, crabbiness, kind of people you just like feeling on edge around, they're feeling on edge, etc. Bitterness is a sign of salty, like emotion that's just being held, leads us down a path that leads to bitterness. And the people that I know that might be more bitter, they don't really look like they're having much fun in life. And my guess is they would tell people this is not a destination to aim for. Don't come down this path, because it's not very much fun. So how do you avoid bitterness? How do you avoid becoming salty and hanging out in the marshes? Well, first you have to become aware that you're a human being and you're actually created to have emotion. So you might have to challenge some of your beliefs about emotions and just give yourself opportunities to practice. So one of the first things I want you to do is, if you don't have a large vocabulary list of emotions, then I would like you to go online and just search for a list of emotions. There are lots of options. Choose one that's really simple. You don't need many. Just start with a small list and just read through those. And you can do what's called try it on. What we mean by that is simply let your eyes land on emotion and ask yourself, am I feeling this emotion? And you might be surprised how accurately your body will give you feedback. Like, no, that one doesn't apply to me at all. I don't relate to that one. Oh, but this word really applies. This one lands. Like, yeah, I think that's it. And right there, when you land on that's it, I am feeling this right now, you have started the process of moving that energy through your body. So a very simple act of saying, I am feeling, fill in the blank, is a way to keep that emotion, that energy of that emotion moving through. And it will help you not get stuck in the salty marshes and swamps. So it takes a lot of practice. It requires you to slow down and take a moment to notice, and then recognize, like, wait, these are gifts from God. These emotions are not to be judged. There's not a right or wrong emotion. And in fact, you can feel several emotions kind of all stirred together. And I tend to think about that emotional experience as confusion. Like you're having some excitement and you're also having some dread at the same time. And they're kind of like thrown into a crock pot and all stirred up, and you can't pinpoint what you're feeling because you're having the shared overlap of those two conflicting emotions. And so there's different strategies to use to sort those out, which we'll talk about another time. But for today, I just want you to think about that river of living water compared to the marshes and the salty water that hangs out there. Which one are you in? If you're feeling a little salty, I want you to think about what might be behind that. What are some emotions that you've been hanging on to, or some unresolved events that have happened in your life that might be keeping you stuck, and they need a little bit of your time and attention? And if you can identify that, and you don't have to know what it is, just know that you're in the marsh, I want you to reach out. I want you to get some help. Talk to a friend who's good with emotions, talk to a spiritual leader, or talk to a therapist. We're specifically trained in helping people be able to learn about emotions and safely express them in a way that's helpful to them and helpful to others. So take your time, challenge the shame, and commit to going into that living water where things are fluid, and don't let yourself get stuck in the marsh. Have a great day.